What's up guys, welcome back to Code with Clinton. In today's video I'm going to be explaining what Django signal is and how you can use Django signals. Django signals are utilities in Django that helps to listen for events, and once an event has taken place they get a function triggered. They help to listen for an event, and once the event might have taken place a function gets triggered. Django signals comprises of the sender and the receiver. The sender is that model or that module that gets the event to occur, while the receiver helps to get the function triggered after an event has taken place. So here's how Django signal comes into action. Let's assume a user creates an account on a website. That's an event, and after the user has created an account, an email is being sent to the user. That email being sent is the function. You understand? The receiver sending a function. You understand? The user being created, that's the event. The email being sent is the function. You understand? The user is the sender, while the function that is sending the email is the receiver. You understand? So Django signals are super important. They have to listen for events, and once an event has taken place they get a function executed. But in this scenario, but in my own case here, I'm going to be using Django signal in a different way, whereby whenever I create a new user, I want to generate a new profile for the user automatically without having to do it manually. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right now. Okay, so now I am currently on the admin section. Before I proceed to the admin, I want to show you something. You can see I have this profile model, and it is being connected to our Django user. You can see it has a one-to-one field to the Django user model. You understand? So whenever I create a user, I connect the user to a particular profile. You understand? Whenever I create a user has a profile. So coming down to the admin section here. So whenever I create a user, I'm going to create a new user now. Let's say add user. So I'm going to give this user some credentials. Simply say, okay, let me give him this Ronaldo as password. I'm going to put something there and this. So I'm going to save. I'm sorry. So save. So let's create a new user called Ronaldo. So looking down to our users, you can see we have Ronaldo added to the data. Ronaldo is being added, and now I'm going to also create a profile for Ronaldo. Now I'm going to create a profile. So now as you can see, we've created a new user Ronaldo, a new user. So I want to go and create a profile for Ronaldo. Now I need to create a profile. Instead, my user is connected to the profile model, so I'm going to create a profile now. So I'm going to simply do add profile. So let's add a profile. So now I'm going to pick the user. I'm going to pick Ronaldo and start filling down the information again. Understand? But I don't want to do this. I want to make sure that whenever I create a user, a profile is automatically generated for the user. I don't want to be coming down here to create a profile for a user manually. So that's where Django signals comes in. They listen for an event, a post-save event, and once the event has taken place, a function gets triggered. So now let's work with so I'm going to show you how to use signals in this video, so you're going to really learn a lot from this. So that's what I'll do. We're getting started with the tutorial right now. So let's go down to our models of SpyFi. So now I'm going to create a function. Before I do that, I'm going to do some importing. I'm going to import the post save method and the post delete. I'm going to simply say from Django db.models.signals. So I'm going to import post underscore save, and also need to import post underscore delete. So that's what we need. That's what we need for now. And I'm also going to import this decorator. I'm going to say from Django.dispatch. So I'm going to import receiver. So that's okay now. So I'm going to create a function down there. A function. So I'm going to call this function. Let's call this function update profile. I'm going to show you something. Updates. Let's go to update profile. Update profile. So this function is going to have some arguments. The first one is sender, the second one is instance, the third one is created, and the fourth one is keyword arguments. Understand? So that should be, I'm not used to this system. So now keywords, so we're gonna have that double keyword args. So that's it, the first one. So now what I'm going to do now is this now. So I want to print out something. Let's just print. I'm going to say profile updated. So whenever I click on the save button on the profile in the admin section, I want this to be printed out, profile updated. But before that's going to open, before that will happen, I need to use the receiver I imported. So now the receiver is going to have the post save events, and the sender of this event is our profile model. The profile, whenever I click on the save button on the profile model in the admin section, this function gets triggered, and we're going to have this printed in the terminal. Understand? So whenever you can see the sender is the profile model, and here's our function, and the receiver is kind of connecting both the sender and the is getting them connected. So now let's get to work right now. So now whenever I click on the save button on the profile model in the admin section, this function update profile gets executed. Understand? The receiver we have there, the receiver is the function who receives the signals and does something with it. This receiver we have up here. Understand? So now let's go back to our admin section. Understand? So this profile we have here is not just any profile. Just up here you can see the name of our model is called profile. Understand? So let's go to the admin section. So now profiles. So now I'm just going to pick one of the profiles we have here, and I'll come down here and click on save. So now let's get down to the terminal and see if something was printed. We want to say you should print profile updated. So let's see. So we're going to find that right now. But from what we have here, nothing is showing in the terminal. We have not seen any profile updated there. It's called profile updated. That's because this should be a decorator and should have the @ symbol. I forgot to add that. So save your work, go back to the admin section again and try saving again. Click on the profile model, click on that save button again, save. So I just hope now we should have some. You can see now we have profile updated. As whenever we click on that save button, this function gets executed. Understand? So now what I want to do now is this. Whenever I click on the user, so I want to come down to these users, right? So whenever I create a new user now and I click save, I want to generate a profile for the user that I created. So let's do that right now. Okay, so now I want to create a profile for our newly created user. Whenever we create a user, we want to create a profile automatically for the user. So now I want to explain some of these things here. The sender, you can see, is the model that sends the event, and the instance is the object that was created. The instance is the object. So this is what we call instance. Now I'm going to show what we call instance. So let me show what they call instance. So you can see this object we have here, these names, these are instance of the profile model. These names, Williams, Clint, John Smith, they are instance of the profile model. Understand? So that's what they call, that's what is referred to as instance. The sender is the model, the instance, the object created. Created here means that this created is going to be true if a new instance is created. If a new instance is added to the database, created is going to be equal to true, and it's going to be equal to false if there is no new instance in the database yet. Created stands for true when there's a new instance in the database, and false when there is no new instance created. Understand? And this keyword argument is just for extra arguments we might have. So now what I want to do now is I'm going to comment this out. So now let's create another function. I'm going to say, let's call this def. I'm going to say create profile. Create profile. So we're going to have the sender argument, the instance created, and the keyword args. So that's it now. So now I'm going to also have this receiver decorator on top of the function. That's receiver. So we're going to have the post save events, and our sender is the user model. You can see we have the user model imported up here. Understand? This is Django user, Django's user, custom Django default user. Understand? So now what I want to do is that whenever we create a new user, we want to create a new profile for the user. So now I'm going to say if created. This if created is coming from here. This created is going to hold true if a new user is being created, a new instance is being created, not just user. Any new object, whenever a new object is being created, this created argument is going to be true. So if created, we want to run this if created. So I want to say, I want to create a variable called user. If created, I want to say user should be equal to instance. I said instance is the objects under a given model. So I'm going to show you that again. Let's say for the user model, these names we have down here are the instance of the user model. Understand? So as I said now, if created, we want to say user should be equal to instance. They give the new model or the new object that was created for the particular model user. So now I'm going to create another variable called profile. Profile is going to be equal to, so now we want to create a profile for this new user. You understand? I want to create a profile for the new user. I'm going to say profile is going to be equal to profile dot objects dot create rather. So now I'm going to put in the user attributes of this profile model. Just coming up here, you can see I'm going to use this user. We're going to use this user attributes here. So scroll down, profile.object.create user from the profile model. This user now is from the profile model. It's going to be equal to this new user instance that was created. It's going to be equal to user. It's going to be equal to the user we have here. Okay, after we've done that now, we're not going to do this. So now we're going to pick another attributes from the profile. We're going to pick the name and the username. So I think we'll be okay with that. So now we're going to simply say name. So let's put this down. Let's say name is going to be equal to user. The user refers to this user instance that was created. It's going to be equal to user dot first name, and the username is going to be equal to user dot username. Understand? First of all, what we did here is that we checked if a new user was added to the database. If yes, so we're going to create a new instance of the user model. So now after we've done that, now we now created the profile. We now say profile.object.create user. For the profile model, we have this user attribute that connects to the Django user, which is what is creating this event down here. You can see from here. So now what we now have now is say profile.object.create. As we understand, we have a user connected to a profile using the one-to-one field. So now this helps us to create a profile for this created user we have up here. Understand? So now after that, I created some more attributes. I said profile.object.create for the user attribute of the profile model. assign this user variable we have to it, and also for the name attribute for the profile model, I gave it the user dot first name, which is the instance of the user model, and for the username I gave it the username for our user instance. Understand? So that's what we need to do now. So now we just have to save. So now let's get down to the admin section. Now let's see if everything is fine, everything is working. So now let's try creating a new user. So let's add user now. So I'm going to simply say, I'm going to call this user, let's call this user Messi. So I'm going to give him a name, let's give it a password. So let's save. Okay, so now Messi is saved. So I'm going to give Messi first name. So I'm going to give him this, let's call him Andres. So that's, there's nothing, I just gave me first name. So let's save now. Save. So now we're going to check if a profile was created for Messi. You know, we have a new user called Messi. So now we're going to check if a profile was actually created for Messi. So let's see. So scroll down and click on profiles. Nice. You can see now we have Messi here. You can see we have Messi created automatically. You can see now we have Messi created. No stress, or how would I call this? Like, we have Messi created automatically. After we created the user, a profile was generated for Messi. So you can see what I've been saying. That's simple. So now you can see our signal is working. Whenever we create a new user, a new profile is automatically generated for the user. So now what I want to do now is this. Now you can see from what we have here, from our profile model, whenever I delete a user, the profile associated with that user gets deleted because of this relationship on delete models.cascade. Whenever I delete a user, the child gets deleted also because of this on delete equal to model.cascade. So now what I want to do is that whenever what I want to do now is I want to make sure that whenever I delete a profile, I want to make sure that the user associated with that profile is deleted. But for the user, as I said earlier, whenever I delete a user, due to the relationship we have here, the profile gets deleted because of this model.cascade. But I want to do the reverse now. Whenever I delete a profile, I want the parent element to be deleted. Understand? Whenever I delete a profile, I want the parent element to be deleted. Understand? So now let's do that right away. So now let's create a function that helps to delete a user whenever we delete a profile. Understand? So now let's do that. I'm going to say def. I'm going to call this delete user. Delete user, and after that we're going to put in the required. We're going to put in the required argument instance. So we're not going to put in created because we're not creating an instance here. We are trying to delete an instance, so we're not going to put in the created argument. So now we're going to put in keyword args. Okay, so that done. Now, okay, so what I'm going to do now is this. So understand, so I'm going to put in this receiver. I'm going to copy this, Ctrl C, paste here. So our sender is the profile. Understand? So I'm going to show what I'm talking about here. So I want to make sure that whenever I delete, so I'm going to make sure I want to show you something. So whenever I delete a particular profile, I want to make sure that the user connected to that profile should also be deleted. Instead, I want to make sure that the user connected to a particular profile gets deleted whenever I delete a profile. So now let's do that right away. Understand? So we're working on the delete this time, not with the save. We're working with the delete button, not with the save button. So now let's complete it now. So as I said, I'm going to simply say user should be equal to the instance. Let's say Understand? The instance is coming from the profile. It's coming from the profile. The instance I showed you before, these are instance of the profile model. So now I'm getting the instance, which are one of these, and after that I said instance dot user. Understand? Instance dot user is going to point to the user model we have here. It's going to point to the user attributes for that part, for the profile model. Instance of the instance dot user points to this user attributes for the profile model. Understand? So after I've done this, now it's simple. I'll just simply say user dot delete, and that's all I need to do for this now. Okay, this is going to be called post delete and not post save. Post delete. Okay, save your work now, and let's go back to it and make sure everything is working. So I'm going to delete this messy. I want to delete Messi's profile. So now come down here and let's try deleting it. So delete. Yes, I'm sure. Okay, let's get down to users. You can see here we don't have Messi amongst the users again. Messi has been deleted. Once I delete Messi's profile, it gets deleted from the user model. Also, you can see everything is working very fine. So we've come to the end of this Django signals tutorial. I really hope you learned something from it, but we are not done yet. I want to make sure that I put in this signal stuff in a different file. Adding it to the model file is going to make the model. It's going to make the model file look messy. Understand? I want to make sure that these signals we have here is on a different file of its own. It should not be on the same file with our model. It's going to make our models look messy. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so I'm going to create a new file called signals.py. I can call this file any name I like, but I prefer to call it signals.py. So now this our model is inside of the user's app. So I'm going to create these signals inside of this user app. So now create a new file called signals.py inside of the user app. Signals.py. So that's it now. So I'm going to copy what I need to copy from here. Copy everything we have here. I'm going to cut Ctrl X and paste inside of signals. Ctrl V. And I need to copy some of those things we imported. So something like the receiver. So Ctrl C. Let's copy this. Let's cut. Come down to signals. So I'm going to put this down, Ctrl V, and not just that, we need to also import, we need to also get the user model. We are going to simply copy this and not cut, Ctrl C, and we also need to get the profile model. So simply say from dot models import profile. So that's it now. And after you've done this, everything what you just did now, Django doesn't know about this. Django doesn't know about the file called signals.py. Django doesn't know about the file we just created. So we need to make sure Django knows about it. So you're going to go down to your apps.py file. Yes, apps.py file. Just come down here and you're going to create this ready function. I'm going to call it def ready. It's going to have the self arguments. So we're going to simply do imports users. Our app is called users. It's going to be users dot signal. Is it called signals? So that's what we need to do for this now. It's okay, save. And there's something I need to like remind you of. If you, so I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it down to the settings.py file. So if you are used to connecting your apps with just the name of the app, what we just did is not going to work. You must make sure you get down to the apps and the config function. Understand? You know, if you do something like this, users, by connecting your app, this is going to work normally. But for what we just did now, we just connecting this signals file to the app.py file, and you connected your app this way, oh, the signals is not going to work. Make sure you get down to your apps file and to the function users.config. Understand, this is not this is the conventional way of connecting your Django apps to your Django projects, not just putting the name of the app like this. Understand? So this is the conventional way. Once you have your app created, you go down to the app, you go down to the app file for that application, which is this. You say you're gonna put in the name of the app first, which is called users here, followed by the name of the app file, which is apps, and after that you're going to come down here and pick up this class name here, whatever it's going to be called, and you're going to just add it to the settings.py file. This is the conventional way of connecting your Django apps to your Django model. Understand? So that's what we need to do now. So let's see if everything is still working fine. So now I'm going to delete one more profile. Let's delete Ronaldo. I'm going to delete Ronaldo profile from the profile model. I'm going to have Ronaldo deleted, so it's going to loading. So now let's delete one of the profiles. Let's see if everything is working. So I'm going to delete Ronaldo's profile. Okay, profile is, oh, it's not here. It seems okay. Okay, it's not here. So let's create a new user. So let's add a new user. Make sure that a new profile is generated for the user. So let's call the new user Lennox. I'm gonna pick a name different now. I'm gonna say Derek, and I'm gonna give them this password. So save. Perfect. You can see we just created a new user called Derek. Let's go and check for the profile. The profile will be created automatically. So you can see we have Derek here, the profile created. So you can see everything is working fine now. So in this tutorial, I was able to explain to you Django signals and how useful they are. You can see Django signals help to make our life easier. So I'm really glad you did watch this video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to smash the like button. We'll meet in the next video. Stay blessed and bye bye.